How are you doing? This is David W. Williams, also known as Diamond Dave. Let me know that you can hear me, that my actual audio is coming through. And what we're going to talk about is how to deal with jealousy and envy, right? Coming from your enemies. And that's kind of a lyric from a song put out, I want to say maybe now almost 20 something years ago. And what we're going to talk about is as you're trying to progress in life, how do you deal with some of the opposition that you're going to face? And how do you kind of take that in context? And how do you kind of rationalize what's going on around you, but also not allow yourself to kind of fall victim to it? And this is something that impacts a lot of people because they're not necessarily giving skills or have an understanding on how to deal with some of these situations. And as a result, what they do is instead of really being all they can be, they kind of fall victim to what other people around them want to be, right? Now, I'm going to give a disclaimer really quickly. What we're not talking about is like the high school, middle school, sixth grade mentality. So there's a lot of people on the internet that think everybody's hating on them. There's a lot of people on the internet, especially women, that think like everybody's jealous of them. We're not kind of talking about that. We're talking about people that are actually doing real things in the real world. We're not talking about somebody from, who's trying to put on an internet narrative or an internet persona who's going back and forth with other people trying to put on internet personas, but nobody really has anything going for themselves, whether that be male or female, right? What we're talking about is people that are actually doing things in the real world, and they're being faced with people coming in opposition with them, and it's showing up as jealousy and envy. And they want to kind of understand how to deal with that and how they should kind of approach it and what they can do to make sure it doesn't put a ceiling over their growth, right? So just really want to make sure that we understand what we're talking about. And I think because of the way in which we curated the audience, we probably won't get a lot of the people that we originally were saying that this is not meant for, but I want people to really understand that. Now, really quickly, this show is going to be sponsored by www.thehighestpaid.online. That's an options training academy to help put people in the position to first empower them, get them to kind of understand how to get rid of that income ceiling, get them to understand that they don't have to be stuck at you make X amount of money per year and there's nothing you can do about that. And they also don't have to be stuck by the only way they can make money is to travel across the city to make money. They can wake up being confident that because of the skill sets that they have, because of their brain, because of their understanding, they know how to get money out of the market, right? And that's something that I've been very successful in teaching people how to do. If they stick with me long enough, they apply themselves. It's just an ability of a perspective on the world and not believing what you've been told, but believing in your work. And we're going to kind of talk about that, right? Repeat myself. The goal is to try to put you in a position is not but just believing what you've been told, but believing in your work. And those are two different perspectives. So a lot of times people ask and they wonder how I can approach things the way I approach it. And it's because I believe in my work. I don't have to let somebody else just tell me what things are going on. Do I take counsel from people? Yes, but I know the work I've put in to do what I'm doing, and I have confidence in that work. Well, the average person, in my opinion, has little to no confidence in the work because why? They've put no work in. So then therefore they think everybody else is going to give me what I need to be successful because I haven't need to put any work in on my own. I mean, real work. Like I said, I don't mean this internet stuff. Okay. So that offer is available. Somebody asked me about discounts. We will probably be doing a sale in August if I can get some things set up. But that'll be on the VIP. It won't be on the core course. And anybody that's been following me for an extended period of time know that the price of everything continues to go up. One reason is just because of inflation. The other reason is because of the content and the content that we keep adding and the time that we give to the community to try to make sure that people are in the best position to be successful. Those costs continue to go up because one thing about your personal time is that you shouldn't put a low price tag on that. So that's the sponsor of the show. I want to encourage you to look into that. We're at the midpoint of the year. Do something with your life so we don't hit 2024 and all you've done in 2023 is the exact same thing you did in 2022, 2021, 19, 2020, 19, 18, yada, yada, yada. All right, so let's get back to the topic. Okay, so what we're talking about is jealousy and envy coming from your enemies, right? And this is something that impacts a lot of people. And you see this your whole life, right? Where you may observe somebody and they may have something going on for themselves. And you'll find is that it'll create a reaction out of people that'll be very based around them being jealous or them being envious. And it may seem very small to you, but to those people, they're very much invested in trying to kind of bring that person down. A lot of what I see online, these quote unquote beefs, a lot of times is that people are jealous. A lot of people that got beef for EYL, it's jealousy. There's no real reason they have an issue with those dudes, because if those dudes was doing what they were doing with 1,000 subs, they wouldn't care. But it's jealousy, right? And we're going to kind of talk about what's kind of under that jealousy. A lot of people that had beef for Kevin Samuels, it was jealousy. It was that you have a middle-aged man that's hit a very high level of success. Everybody knows he's making money. I heard his Patreon was doing like $40,000 a month. And they're jealous because they still haven't figured it out. Now, when Kevin Samuels was doing live streams at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and nobody was showing up, they didn't care what he was talking about. But once he got big and started getting the attention, then all of a sudden, it became an issue about what he was doing. And it was just jealousy, right? Some of y'all gonna be too young to remember, but there's a guy who's an actor now who used to be a rapper named Ice-T. And he put out a song and he was talking about another guy who, I don't know what he does now, but he used to be a rapper named MC Hammer. And MC Hammer blew up at one time. Like MC Hammer was just as big as Drake is. Some people gonna be too young to remember that, right? When I was a little kid, MC Hammer was a big rapper. He's as big as Drake is now, really bigger than any other rapper probably except Drake. Because a lot of these rappers y'all think big, we just seen with Lil Baby, can't really get no shows like that. And Ice-T talked about a lot of people, there's really a lot of people out of the East Coast, out of the Northeast, they were jealous of Hammer because why? Hammer was bigger than them at a music that they thought they created. And they didn't respect Hammer as a rapper because Hammer really was not a rapper. He really was an entertainer / performer. But Hammer was bigger than them at a music that they thought they owned because they kind of quote unquote created the art form or the culture, whatever you want to call it. And so Ice-T was explaining that a lot of people was just jealous of Hammer because why? He was way bigger than them. Right? Hammer at one time, like Hammer went, there's a video, if you can go look it up on YouTube, I think it's Too Legit to Quit. That was a multi-million-dollar video when they put it out. At that time, nobody was doing videos with that kind of budget. This is before Puffy, all these dudes. Like, this is how big this guy was. Like, he was a massive act at that time. But he was coming out of Oakland, California. And Oakland, California wasn't known to produce a lot of rappers. So it caused a lot of beef with a lot of New York people who didn't like the fact that this dude from Oakland, who we don't know, who we don't respect as a lyricist, is the biggest thing in rap music. And so you'll often find is that when you become very successful in whatever you're doing, and success is going to be subjective or relative to your situation, people around you will become jealous of what you're doing. Some of these people you don't know. I've seen people on this YouTube talk down on Erica. It's jealousy, right? Erica's a woman and she makes a lot of money. A lot of people can't handle that, male or female, right? A lot of women don't know women that make the kind of money Erica makes, so they can't handle it. And a lot of men don't know women that make the kind of money Erica makes, so they can't handle it. So they come up with something negative to say because it's really a form of jealousy, right? It's just, it is what it is. I've seen people on this YouTube talk about Thierry from Travel and Trade. Jealousy. She's a very, very successful business person. She don't bother nobody. She don't flex on people. She could really flex on people if she really wanted to. Like a lot of these women that y'all think is doing something, Thierry can really make them look like they're not doing nothing. But that's not the spirit that she's in. But they had that little section of YouTube that was trying to talk down on her. It was just jealousy, right? It was just, I'm mad because this particular person is actually doing it in real life, not acting like they're doing it in real life, right? And so often when you look at a lot of these issues with people saying they got a problem with this, that, and the third, a lot of what's behind it is really jealousy and envy. And we're going to kind of talk about that. Because if you're trying to get to a certain point in this world, it's something that you're going to have to deal with. And you have to deal with it successfully. You can't deal with it and fail at it because the goal of those people is to get you to where they're at. Like I talked about with Erica. Most women don't know women that make the money that Erica makes. So you got women on here teaching about, divesting and swirling and stuff of that nature. Well, the easiest way to do that is to make more money, right? But they can't teach women how to make money because they don't know how to make money, right? So really, if you want to really help women do that type of stuff, you should send her to Erica and let Erica teach them how to actually go make some money so they can go live that type of life. But they don't want to lose their audience. So what they do is they just keep their audience there talking about the same stuff over and over again. But the women that are supposedly going to teach you how to do this, they don't make as much money as Erica. And once you make more money in this country, not 100% of the time, but 80% of the time, it opens you up to different environments because you can pay your way in the door. Right? So many people are stuck where they're at because of their socioeconomic situation, not because of the color of their skin. Are there barriers on you because of the color of your skin? Definitely. But what they know is that if we can just put a price point on something, and it'll keep the majority of certain type of people out, because why? They can't afford to pay the price point. So the way to get them into other environments is to improve them to where they can pay certain price points. But then I don't have the ability to teach that to them. So then what do? I just keep them around me talking about the same thing over and over again. Right? So that's what I want people to understand, is that there is a lot of people on this particular internet. They've built their whole audience around the masses being jealous and envy us of people doing stuff. I used to deal with this woman from Cleveland. When I say deal with her, we had a business relationship. And we were talking about when LeBron left Cleveland. And she's from Cleveland. She told me, well, the reason why they're mad at LeBron is because he left Cleveland and they want him to stay in Cleveland and do bad with them. So once LeBron was like, man, I'm going to Miami to play ball, they lost it because he's from Akron and they want him to stay in Cleveland, Ohio, and just suffer with them. Because, Cleveland, until LeBron came back and won a championship, they never had a championship in any sport. They got an NFL championship, but they don't have a Super Bowl. They got an NFL championship when Jim Brown was playing for them. That, rest in peace to him. That's how long ago that was. Therefore, they wanted this top-tier athlete to stay in Cleveland with them and suffer. And once he wouldn't do it, they got mad. Now, you notice when he left Miami, didn't nobody trip on him, because why? We're not in that spirit. He came to Miami. We got 2 rings. We played for 4 chips, 50-50. Do what you do. It's not worth being mad at nobody for doing what they do. You know what I'm saying? Because we understand that's what he was going to probably do anyway, because he's from out there, right? But Miami, because of what's going on down there and the way that city's moving, the tone of that city is not to, you're going to come down here and you're going to suffer with us, because Miami is about having fun, enjoying yourself, living life. Cleveland, Ohio is not about that. That's a depressed economy. They're a Rust Belt city. They don't have a lot going on for themselves. No disrespect to them. Know a lot of solid people out the Cleveland Metro. Talk about the overall tone of the city. And you have to understand this happens over and over and over again, to where the people around you, once they see something out of you that makes them feel uncomfortable, it'll start creating a feeling out of them. And you didn't do anything to them, but they just feel that way. And one of the biggest ways on the internet to create an audience is when somebody gets big, then what I do is I find all the people that are jealous and envy of that person's situation, and I organize them people against that situation. That's the easiest way to get big. So all we do is, let's take Trump, for example. How you make money off the situation. I either become a Trump cheerleader and I find all the people that just want to cheerlead Trump, or I say I don't like Trump and I find all the people that don't like Trump. It's an easy way to build an audience. Floyd Mayweather made a lot of money off of that. He realized that half the people that's going to watch my fight are the people that don't like me. I'm throwing money in their face. I'm showing big houses, nice cars, all that. They don't like the fact that I can live this lifestyle, because they can't live this lifestyle. Therefore, they'll watch me just to try to see if I get beat. And he learned how to tap into that to get those people to pay him money. Because it's 2 parts to every audience. It's the people that like you, and it's the people that don't like you. And oftentimes the people that don't like you, they often don't even really know you like that. They just don't like you because they see you operating at a very high level. And we're going to kind of talk about the difference between people that are doing wrong and the people that are doing right. But I want people to really understand that. So that's kind of what we want to lead off with, right? Let me get back to this live stream. So first thing you got to understand, to get the best benefit out of life, you have to separate yourself from the pack. If you do what everybody's doing, how are you going to get anything different? So this is why I tell all the little level up. And, I feel bad for those women because they don't really understand how this game really works, right? I could help those women level up and do that type of stuff if they will listen to what I was telling them. But they're under bad instructions, which is why most people fail, right? Many people fail because they're under bad instructions, right? They go from getting no instruction to getting bad instructions, so nothing changes in their life. But they like the person and what they're telling them, but don't realize you're getting bad instructions, right? Often to get the best benefit from life, you got to separate yourself from the pack. I don't mean that you got to be an individual. I don't mean you got to do it all by your own. What I mean is that if you live in a part of the city and everybody makes $50,000 a year, right? Because cities are set up into sections. So you live in a part of the city, everybody makes 50 grand a year. Well, look at what they do to make 50 grand a year. Okay, what are you going to do different so you don't end up just making 50 grand a year like them if you want to actually make something more, right? What I've made an effort to do this second half of the year is to go out and to do more social stuff. Because the way I make my money, I really make my money on the computer. I don't have to deal with a lot of people to make my money. A lot of my money is made off research because I'm more of a directional trader. I'm more of a long-term trader. So a lot of my money is made off research. I was researching today how FedNow was going to maybe potentially impact PayPal. A lot of my money is made on research, right? So a lot of my money is not made on social stuff because a lot of people socially can't talk about what I do to make money. They don't even have a point of reference. So we got to talk about something else. But what I've done is I made an effort to be more social. Every Saturday, I'm going to some events. Like last Saturday, I volunteered. This Saturday, I got another event I'm going to. Why? So I get out and get around more people because you won't meet anybody if you're always in the house, right? So the majority of the people in the world is just on social media typing, but they're not actually social. To separate yourself from the pack, you often got to go and do things with people that you normally wouldn't do and meet people and go to different environments. I was supposed to go to a solar conference last Wednesday at Georgia Tech. I missed it because I didn't RSVP early enough. But you got to do things that's going to separate you from the pack. Because if everybody is here and you just do what everybody does, you can't get above them because why? That's what everybody does. So either you're going to end up with everybody, you're going to end up underneath them. But you're never going to get above them. And what most people are doing is they're trying to figure out what just makes me average. Right? How can I just be like everybody else and feel comfortable that I'm in a group of people and I'm doing what the group is doing and I'm comfortable? The problem is, what is the group doing? That's why I tell people, if you only know people that make $50,000 a year and that's your social circle, it's going to be difficult for you to make 100 grand a year. Right? Because you're not even having $100,000 a year conversations. What I want you to understand is that the mindset of a person that makes $100,000 a year is totally different than the mindset of a person that makes $40,000 a year. And the mindset of a person that makes $250,000 or greater a year is going to be different than the mindset of a person that makes $100,000 a year. So the 100 grand a year is one level. That's a pack that you're in. What are you going to do to separate yourself from that? I'm looking to try to do an event this year. I told the person I'm doing an event with, I don't expect to be Beyonce off this first event. The goal is to go through the event and learn the process of doing an event, right? To get the experience of doing an event. So when I go into 2024, it's not the first time I've done it. But if I keep doing what I've done, how does the business grow? See, so if I made a certain X amount of money doing 1, 2, 3, how do I make more money and grow the business if I just keep doing 1, 2, 3? So I do 1, 2, 3 to maintain to stay at a certain level. But if I want to grow this thing, what do I got to do? I got to do something different because I got to separate myself from the pack. Right? And so often when you separate yourself from the pack and you do what the average person would not do, and I'm not talking about, doing over the top stuff, because that's how some people feel like they got to separate themselves from the pack. Kim Kardashian is going to be a billionaire, but she separated herself from the pack by doing pornography. Well, a lot of women had tried to follow that lead, but what was the problem? Once she did it, and really she didn't do it first, really Paris Hilton did it first. But once Kim Kardashian did it, then once everybody else does it, where are you now? That's the pack now. So you don't differentiate yourself by doing it, because now what have you done? You're just doing what everybody else is doing. And I think that's what a lot of people don't realize. They catch on to stuff so late and they start thinking, well, that's what I need to do. But by you now doing it, you're doing what everybody else is doing. So now everybody has a sex tape out now because of Kim Kardashian. So it's not a big deal to have one. But when she did it, it wasn't a norm. It was something that was very abnormal. There's nothing abnormal about it now. Right? So you got to realize is that you want to try to figure out, what do I need to do to where I can be doing something different than what everybody else is doing that's going to improve my situation. Because what happens to a lot of people is that they build their life around really their income level. Nobody wants to really say that, but most people build their life and they build their associations around their income level. Well, the problem is that once you do that, it's hard to get to a higher income level, because who do you know that makes that type of money? Right? So everybody that you know is at this socioeconomic income level. You live where you can afford to live, because you can't afford to live anywhere else because you can't pay for it. So then your whole society that you deal with is based on your income level, which then determines the conversation that you have, the things that you think are important, yada, yada, yada. Right? So they don't sometimes realize you got to do something different to separate yourself from the pack. Then once you do that, here comes the jealousy and the envy by the people that are part of the pack that don't like the fact that you've done that. It is something that you just got to deal with. Because if you don't deal with it, you can never figure out how to handle it, because everybody that's really successful has people that don't like them. Tyler Perry did an interview the other day. He says that a lot of people said a lot of weird stuff about him. To be real with you, I think it's weird that Tyler Perry, once he had a certain income level, was still putting on a dress. But if that's what you like to do, that's what you like to do, right? But it's weird to me, because my attitude is when I was in Tampa, he did a show at my college. And I asked a woman I know, I said, well, he did the show because I'm thinking like he's still doing live plays. They was like, yeah. I'm like, I'm tripping that he is worth millions of dollars. At this time, he's probably worth 50, 60 million. He's worth probably well over 100 million now. And he still got to put a dress on. But that's what he want to do, right? And he talked about the where when he was building out his situation, he didn't worry about what people said about him, because he realized those people had very little to do with whether or not he was successful. And he says now, because he's been successful for so long, a lot of those people that have so much criticism of him are now trying to figure out how to get deals with him, because he's become an institution now, because he's been around, pretty much going on now 2 decades. And so what you got to understand is that when you're trying to build something out, a lot of people are going to have a problem with it. And it's not in most situations that you did something to them, is they don't like the fact that you separate yourself from the pack. Right? What's the sister's name? Used to play basketball for the Houston Comets. It was the Houston Comets. Yes, the Houston Comets. Cheryl Swoops. Right? She had one narrative that people was cool with. When she went and did another narrative that was based on how she felt at the moment, a lot of people didn't like that. Right? Because she was in a certain pack. It's not that she's doing what she want to do, but she's not part of that pack. People had an issue with that. Right? So you got to realize is that you can't often get to certain levels if you allow the pack to dictate what level you're going to. It don't mean that you can't do group stuff. It don't mean that you can't, come together and work as a team. What it means is that often to get the best benefit out of life, you may have to try to figure out how to get out of the pack. Because what a lot of people don't understand is this. If we really running together as a group, if you can do something at a better level than me, that's a blessing to me, because you showing me how to get there. So if you go and you trailblaze a situation, you showing me how to get there. So I'm watching you. It don't help us as a group for you to hold back because you worried about what somebody gonna say about you, because we can get farther if everybody go trailblaze. See what I'm saying? But when you create an environment to where people are trying to dictate where people can go and what people can do, because that make them feel better when they feel like they got control over people, It hurts the group because why? We not going into these different areas and trailblazing and really opening the door for other people. Because one thing about me is I don't close doors behind myself. I'm going to open the door up, but I'm going to keep the door open for people to come in behind me because that's what everybody else do. But if you try to stop me from getting into the door, that's hurting us because why? I may have the ability to operate in this particular area. You may not, right? But somebody else in our group may have the ability to operate in that area and they just need me to open the door for them. And so that's what I want people to understand. If you look around your group and everybody's at a certain level, you want to try to figure out what can I do, right, to get to that next level? And then how can I keep the door open for the people around me to get into that same door, right? And a lot of people, what they do is that they figure out how to get to the next level and everybody around them stays right where they're at. And people are cool with that because they're not being challenged. And that's how you see it. The internet has allowed a lot of people to build those type of communities where I'm on a certain level, but my following and my group, they way down here, right? Because I can never teach them and I don't want to teach them how to get to where I'm at. I know they're cool with staying where they're at, so I just help them stay there. You understand me? So then they don't have to worry about nobody being jealous or envious of them because why? They never really show what they really got going on. So the people think that this person's right where I'm at. Well, in reality, they're really way, way successful than you. And you see a lot of that with these entertainment celebrities. You know, they are very, very well off, but they deal with an audience that don't really have nothing going for themselves. But they'll never let that audience know how well off they are because they're worried about the pushback or they're worried about the hate or the jealousy that they'll get from their audience because their platform's not about elevation. It's about me just keeping you right where you're at and you being cool with that so I can never really let you know what I really have going on, right? And so that's what I want people to understand. So that's that point, right? Let me go to the next point. So people may not be happy when they look at your accomplishments. It reminds them of what they're not doing. That's the biggest thing in the world. Like I talked about Thierry. Thierry's the #1 seller on Teachable. She's running a very, very successful business. She's done things. I still can't figure out how she's doing it, right? There's things she's implemented in her business that I'm aware of. I can't figure out how she did that, right? But I'm not mad at her because she's way more successful than me, right? I don't trip on that. I don't get mad at somebody making money. Like that's weird to me because there's so much money to be made. This is America. But often when people look at your accomplishments, it's going to remind them of what they're not doing. And they don't want to be reminded of what they're not doing. So what they want you to do is stop doing what you're doing. Right? That's where the jealousy and the envy come from. They don't want to be reminded of what they're not doing. So what they want you to do is stop doing what you're doing. And this happens to people this can happen to you throughout your whole life. Right? And it's not a white or black thing. I went to a primarily white high school. I seen white people hate on white people, right? For doing real well academically. I seen white people hate on white people for doing real good in sports. I seen it. It's not a black or white thing. A lot of people think that because, like I say, they lack exposure in certain environments. My first 2 years of high school, I went to probably a 60% white high school. I seen white people try to tear each other apart because they were jealous and envious of each other, right? So what I want people to understand is that often when you're performing at a high level, people are going to look at your accomplishments and you're going to remind them of what they're not doing. They don't want to be reminded that they're not moving ahead in this world. They don't want to be reminded that they're not making money, right? They don't want to be reminded that they're not advancing in this world, right? So you can never talk about that. And I'm not saying you're doing it to brag. You may just be talking about what you have going on and they don't want to be reminded of that because they don't want to do nothing. So what they want to do is build their life of people that's just like them that are going to stay in the same place the rest of their life. So what they're going to try to do is either get you to stop talking about it or get away from them because you're a reminder of what they're not doing. They're not even trying to do stuff. It's different between you trying it. It may not be working for you right now. They don't want to do nothing. So much of the world, especially in America, the way they've kind of built this system, a lot of people are just content with what they got going on, right? They're just content. They work their 9 to 5. They come home at night. They watch Netflix. They watch television. They eat their little food, right? They take their little drugs, whatever that is. They may go out. They may have sex. They do whatever. They wake up the next day, they do it all over again. They don't want anything different than that. They looking for to feel comfortable, what they perceive to be comfortable. And once they get that level, they're not looking to expand past that. It's often until they get older and they realize what they haven't done as a younger person is when they start trying to get motivated, right? But a lot of people from like maybe 25 to maybe 50, sometimes 55, they just cool with where they're at because they have everything right in within their grasp. And it's when they start to realize what they don't have as they get older is when they start trying to get motivated to do something different. And often, if you between those ages are doing more than what they're doing, you're a reminder of what they're not doing, and they don't want to deal with that. Right? And I'm talking about people, again, that are really doing something. I'm talking about people that's posting a bunch of pictures on Instagram talking about everybody's hating on me. Right? And that's what you kind of want to understand. And so that's where the jealousy and the envy is going to come from. But that happens, it can happen at a very, very young age, right? To where people start getting conditioned that if I outperform the people that are around me, it's going to create a negative reaction out of those people, right? Because they don't want to be reminded of what they're not doing. And one of the biggest challenges we have with younger people is we don't teach them to really understand what they're talented at. So they're often taught if they're not really good at school or sports, then they really don't have a lane in this world. And there's so much more to do in this world than to just play sports or to just be like an academic genius, right? There's so much more to do in this world that you can be successful at. But a lot of times, because of the way this particular system is set up, young people are made to believe if I'm not really good at sports and if I'm really good at school, I'm just a nobody. And so it creates an anxiety in them because they feel like, well, nothing's going to happen for me in life. And a lot of times they start lashing out behind that. And there's so much more to do in this world outside of those two particular areas. We're not against academics, but just because you are very academically accomplished, it don't mean that you're going to be a good employee for somebody. It just means you're good at regurgitating schoolwork. Working for somebody and making money is totally different than regurgitating schoolwork. And a lot of people don't understand that. Okay. So people will show up to your party just to spoil it because they don't like the fact that your tree's bearing good fruit. All right. So that's something that you see offline and online. Once you got something going, what you do is you will attract people who are just trying to mess your situation up. So let me give an example on the online because we online. So you can go and build out a really successful online platform, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, whatever. And you doing what you're doing. Well, while you're doing that, people are looking at you and they're kind of observing what you got going on. Right. And a lot of times the way people are conditioned psychologically, they're more attracted to what they say they don't like than what they like. That's why I keep telling people on this YouTube, a lot of you are hypocrites because you say you don't like something, but you support that more than the things that you say you do like. So really what you do is you really like the stuff you say you don't like. You enjoy it. Right. And what they do is they sit back in the cut. And then as soon as they get an opportunity, they'll try to come in and spoil your party. So you see this with live streams. The reason why I don't let anybody and everybody just say what they want to say on my channel is because I know a lot of these people are here just to try to mess up what I'm trying to do. They don't care about what I have going on. They're not passionate about what I'm passionate about. They're not invested in what I'm invested in. So they will only come here to destroy it. That's really their assignment. Because they don't know how to be productive and they've never been rewarded for being productive. They've only been rewarded and given attention for being negative and being destructive. So they don't know how to get attention in the other way. Right. And so that's what they do. So now that the channel's at a certain level, we can put a topic on and here they go to show up because why? Here's an audience for me. Now, I don't want to go build my own audience. I just want to use his audience or nor do I want to, like I said, people may hit the super chat up. I don't want to hit up the super chat to get some attention. What I want to do is just come into the comments and try to start a fight. We had that when I did the video about the women's reproductive issues. People showed up that had never showed up in any video before. And now it was, here's an opportunity for me to get something going. Now, why don't you go do that on your own YouTube channel? Because nobody's going to show up. So what I want you to understand is that people will show up to your party just to spoil it because they don't like the fact that your tree is bearing good fruit. You can watch YouTube videos of people showing up at weddings trying to mess up the wedding. Like, why would you do that? Because I'm mad that this person is getting married and they're going to leave me where I'm at. So they show up at the wedding and try to mess the wedding up. I don't know why you should just over with now. It don't matter what you and that person had. Once they get married, it's over. But people do this type of stuff. People will do this in your marriage. I'm not married, but I will tell any married person, you got to watch single people. If you're married, you got to watch out for single people. Why? Because they're not in your situation and they may not care if they mess up your situation. So if you married, you got to guard your marriage against single people who may not care about your marriage because why? They don't have that type of investment. Right? And I'm single and would tell married people that you got to watch out. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? Because people will show up to your party just to spoil it because they don't like the fact that your tree is bearing good fruit. And so you got to be careful about a lot of this stuff. And when you don't have anything going on, these people won't give you the time of day. Once they think you got something going, here they come to show it up because why? I want some attention to my situation, or I want you to fall back the way you was at with me. And we're going to kind of talk about that. So that's something I'm always looking at. Why do I curate my comments so much? Because many people will show up here not because they all care about what we're talking about. The majority of the content on this channel, 85% of it is economic based. I study people and I study who reacts to what and yada, yada. I watch everything. And what I don't catch, I got people around me to catch it for me. So they catch what I miss. Right? I look at people and I look at what videos they comment on. And so if you show up out of nowhere on a video topic and you write me War and Peace, which people that don't know is a very, very long book, and you write War and Peace in the comment section and you never comment on anything ever again, you're not going to be able to survive in this habitat. Because what I'm trying to figure out is that we do the weekend stock market talk. We're doing that video for damn near 3 years. You never comment on that. Got almost 300 options for beginners videos. You don't comment on none of that. But as soon as I put out a video talking about, I did a video about a year ago about how so many black women are in debt to try to get employment, try to go to college, right? And how that debt is impacting, is negatively impacting their ability to build wealth because they got to service the debt. And black women across the border, the lowest paid employees inside the United States, regardless of the educational requirements. All of a sudden, so many people showed up to comment on that, but you don't comment on nothing else, right? Anything with Jay Morrison, all these people show up I ain't never heard of before. Writing War and Peace in the comments, right? Writing the New Testament and the Old Testament in the comments. Never seen you before. I had that same situation with Kevin Samuels. So those videos get a lot of attention, but they also bring in the wrong people, right? Because they see that, well, this particular video is hot. Let me see, can I get some attention to come to me? And you'll notice people will go into subthreads. So they won't even make their own comment. They'll go into a subthread and they'll disrespect somebody in the subthread just to get some attention from that person that wrote the original comment. Just how bad this stuff is. So this is what you got to watch out for. When you build your situation, people showing up to your party just to spoil it because they don't like the fact that your tree is bearing good fruit. And often the reason why they're doing it is because they're not confident in what they got going on, right? I know the work I put in to build what I currently got going on right now. I know the work I put in. Didn't nobody hand this to me. I really, at the end of the day, got more work than they. At a certain time of the day, I cut my work off and say, I'm not going to work no more. Because I'm the type of person, I would work all the way through the night. So I'm not doing that no more, right? I normally have more work than they. I don't have time to hate on nobody and worry about what they got going on. I got time to worry about what I got going on because the projects I got going on, they cost money. So I'm putting money in projects and I got time to worry about something over there that ain't going to make me no money. That's a waste of my time. But the average person don't have those type of concerns. Like I said, their life is scheduled through their job. This time to this time, that's all they worried about. So once they outside of that particular window of hours, they ain't got no but free time just to figure out what they want to do next. You understand me? And that's what I want you to understand is that a lot of times you got to be careful when you build something, regardless of what it is, any kind of structure, any kind of institution, letting people in, right? Letting people in who are not invested in your situation. They don't care if they destroy your situation. If you have a business and you let somebody come work in your business, you got to know what kind of person you're dealing with, because if they destroy your business, they don't care. It's not their business. It's yours. I was working with a dude back when I was on Gumroad. The man deleted all the content on Gumroad. If I never had the ability to put that content back, he don't care. It's not his content. You see what I'm saying? He can't help me put that content back. What if I have to make all those videos over again? He don't care. It's not his videos. So you got to be very careful when you letting people into your situation. You got to really understand what is a motivation, because often people will come in just to destroy your situation because they don't like the fact that your situation is bearing good fruit and their situation is not. And this is why in this world, married people normally deal with married people. Now, I'm not saying that always works, but normally married people deal with married people. People with kids normally deal with people with kids. People that can afford to live in a certain part of the city only want to live around other people that can afford to live in that certain part of the city. People that can send their kids to private schools normally link up. People do stuff because they know they got those type of investments, right? They know that they're invested that way. Where people that don't have those kind of investments, they don't care what happens, right? They don't care what happens. So what I want you to understand is that you got to kind of watch out for this type of stuff, because I noticed it and I watch out for it. And I know that people will jump on a live stream just to try to divert the live stream of what we're talking about, because they want the crowd that's in the live stream to talk about what they want to talk about, right? So they come in to try to swing the conversation. I won't allow that. You go do that on your own YouTube channel. You don't go do that over here. And that's something I really guard myself against. If I come into somebody's live stream, I try to make sure I stay on topic, because what I don't want to do is have my stuff take away from what I'm talking about. If you do want to take away from what to talk about, donate money. But don't come in on the free tip and then try to take away from it, right? So I watch myself when I do that. So make sure I'm not doing that to somebody else's platform, because I don't respect it when somebody do that to my platform. Okay, so that's the most important thing you got to watch out. People will show up to your party just to spoil it. Okay, and they don't care about the work that you put in. They don't care, because why? They didn't do the work, so why do they care? So this is what you got to watch out. And sometimes, man, it's people that you may think you like. You may think that, you know, I think this would be a good person around me, and they don't care. You know, there was a story that the Brat was talking about years ago, right? And she was dealing with this chick, and Jermaine Dupri gave her a present for like Christmas or something. And she said the girl got mad that she didn't get a present. And she asked Dupri, like, why show the trip? But Dupri's like, she's jealous of you. That's why she acting like that. She jealous. It ain't got nothing to do with me. It ain't got nothing to do with the present. This woman is around you, but she's jealous of what you got going on. So the first thing she can try to figure out to create some dissent between me and you, she gonna try to do that, because why? She really jealous of your situation. So you got to be careful of this type of stuff, because people will come around you just because they want to try to put a monkey wrench in what you got going on, but they will act like they really care something about you, right? And it don't mean be by yourself, because you can't do nothing by yourself in this world. It means that you have to be very discerning about when you're building something that's outside of the norm, who you're letting be around you. Because a lot of people, they around you because they think this is a good situation for them, but they're not invested in the situation, and they will destroy your situation trying to get to their next situation. That's something you got to watch out for. People will be cool with you as long as you stay with them or under them. This will mess a lot of people up. So you could be with a bunch of people and you at certain levels, right? And as long as you stay there, they never gonna have a problem with you, right? But once you start to move past them in anything, they now got an issue. So you got to watch this type of stuff, right? One thing about me, it's no hate in my heart for how much money somebody make. Even if I may not like what they're doing to make the money, I just like the fact that they're making money. Because I don't think enough of us are money focused. I think we are, but because we don't really know what money is, right? I look at the markets too much. I know what money is. You know, you look at corporations, they doing $19 billion over 90 days. We around here talking about six figures. We having six figures, and most people, they're not talking about $999,000. They're talking about $100K. And I'm looking at a business report earnings, and the business did $19 billion in 90 days. That's 30, 60, 90 days. They ran $19 billion through that company. Most people not going to have a business going to run $1 billion, $1 billion over the life of the company. Over 100 years, they won't run $1 billion to their company. So I don't never hit on nobody for getting money. Get money, get some more money. And after that, go get some more. Right? Because we see with old girl in Dubai, well, now everything gonna cost money. See? So people was talking about on a video, she need to do this and she need to do this and she need to do that. All that gonna cost money. You don't do that stuff, don't work for free. These people that you saying she need to hire to try to help her get out of the situation, these people cost. So if you haven't made this important, you can't all of a sudden make it important when you need it. It got to be important before you need it. See? So I don't never get mad at nobody for getting money. Get money. I may not even like what they doing to get money, but I don't get money. Right? You know what? If you doing something wrong, I have confidence that something go deal with that situation. But get money. Because you may need money to get out of the situation. What I don't like is people doing stuff and it ain't making them no money. Right? Me watching YouTube videos of dudes in the county jail because they can't make their bail, doing all kind of crazy stuff. Because why? You can't make bail. Because if I catch a case, I'm trying to bail out. What I like sitting in jail all day for? Playing cards and eating bad food. I'm bailing. But I'm not broke. So we have a whole segment of our population that they're involved in criminal activity because they don't know no better. And then they catch a case and they can't pay their way out of jail. So now they sit in jail and do the same stuff they got them arrested the first time. Because they never made making money a priority. Right? But a lot of people are cool with you if you stay right there with them. So if you running with a bunch of people and making money is not a priority, they like you. Once making money becomes a priority for you, they don't want to deal with you no more. Because why? You may making money a priority, or you may make your health a priority. So a lot of people, the way in which they moving is bad for your health. They smoking everything, they drinking everything, right? They doing all kind of drugs. That's bad for your health. So as soon as you say, I'm gonna try to improve my health, they don't have nothing to do with you. Right? Because we not on some health tip. So you got to realize that a lot of people are only going to be cool with you as long as you stay with them or under them. I don't trip on nobody having success in this world, especially financial success. I want you to make $50 million because I know what it can do for you and your family. Right? I'm tired of one of my I wouldn't say issues, but one of the things I'm very passionate about is the people that built this country should get a financial benefit from being over here. Right? We shouldn't be the poorest people in the country. We built the whole damn country. But because that hasn't become a narrative for our group, we think it's cool being the poorest people in the country. We built the whole country that everybody else using to make money off of. So I don't never trip on nobody for getting money. Now, I may not, like I said, I may not like what they're doing to get money, but get money. Right? Go get some money because it's better than being broke. Right? Because a lot of people is doing what other people is doing to get money. They doing it. They still broke. So I don't understand what you're doing. You got chicks doing what Kim Kardashian doing and they broke. But they doing what Kim Kardashian doing. So you might as well get you some money if you're going to do that. Don't be broke doing it. Get some money. But many people are cool as long as you stay with them or under them. So you got to realize that this is something you're going to deal with. You're going to deal with it professionally. You may deal with it in relationships. I tell men all the time, don't date no woman that make more money than you. Right? Don't come into no relationship with a woman and she make more money than you and you come into the relationship. Don't do that. Because it's going to cause problems down the road. Right? But a lot of dudes, they put how they feel about the woman. They think she look good. They put that over that situation. But I would counsel any man, if you meet that woman and she make more money than you, don't even do that. Right? Because I've seen with guys, when they meet a woman and she's doing better than them, as they start to improve their situation, she get mad because why? She can't put you in her pocket no more. Right? But that's a story they can't talk about on the internet. See? Because when she met you, you was in her pocket. Now that you're not in her pocket no more, you don't want to learn tech or you went and got a trade over here. She can't put you in her pocket no more. Now she got an issue. That's why you shouldn't deal with it. Right? So you got to always understand is that many people, the way they segmented you in their life is you are here and I'm here and I want the relationship dynamic to stay like that. And once the relationship dynamic no longer is like that, I don't like the situation no more. So what I'm going to try to do is either get you to get back in your position or I can't have nothing to do with you no more. Right? Most people really don't want to see you doing real well. They really don't. Because they only thinking about how they feel. They don't have a group focus. They're not group centric. They don't think like that. They just think about how I individually feel every day. So if it make me feel better to know that other people is doing bad just like me, I feel better. It don't make me feel good that other people are doing better than me. That's why I said we're talking about us, our people. I could do a YouTube channel and put nothing but positive content around black people in this world accomplishing stuff. And people won't pay no attention to that because why? It'll make them feel bad because they're not doing nothing like that. They want to see negative, so I feel bad about the negative that I'm involved in. That's just how people think. That's why Jerry Springer blew up. Let's get to the next one. So understand that jealousy and envy. Understand that jealousy and envy is real. Sorry for the typo. And you're going to have to deal with it. So it's a price of admission to higher levels. If you want to get to a higher level in this world, you're going to have to deal with jealousy and envy. There's no way getting around. I'm talking about actually doing real stuff. Like I said before, I'm not talking about you and this person having this little issue over, I think I look better than her. I'm not talking about you, some dude, and you got a car with some rims on it, and you think somebody mad at you because you got a car with some rims. Like that stuff is, like I said, that's grade school. I'm talking about you actually doing real things in this real world. People being jealous and envy of you is part of the price of admission to higher levels because you're breaking out of the pack. And many people don't feel like you're trailblazing a way for me to figure out how to get there. Right? They feel like you're making me feel bad that I'm not doing nothing, or you're going to leave me where I'm at. And a lot of that comes from everybody thinking like an individual. This is something I learned from this dude on YouTube, right? He says that if you got 5 people and somebody offering some education in a particular space, but y'all say, well, one person by themselves can't afford it. Why don't y'all put y'all money together, let the one person buy it, he get the content, he bring it back to y'all, and all 5 learn at the same time. But see, people don't think that way. See? So they'll get mad at the one person because they can afford it, and the other 4 will hate on the one person because they can afford it instead of trying to figure out how can we all come together, make it to where we can make sure the one person can get it. He bring the information to us, right? And we get the information, right? So K's pass. So this is what we're talking about. We're going to time you out because I want to make sure you stay on topic. So that's what I'm trying to get people to understand. People being jealous and envious of you is the price of admission to higher levels. Right? I had a dude come on my YouTube. I had made a video about something. Dude wrote a whole, he wrote the Old Testament in my comments about something I said, not even what the video was about, but something I said in the follow-up about somebody. And it wasn't derogatory, but he was mad that I didn't attack that person the way he thought I should attack him. Then he started attacking me. That's what come with this game on the internet. Because people feel like I can just say whatever I want to say. I don't have to be held accountable to what I'm saying. So I knew that coming in. That's one of the reasons why I was so hesitant to even come on YouTube. Because I know what come with it. And I don't want to deal with it. Right? I didn't want to have to deal with this type of stuff. But it's a great platform to get the word out. But I don't want to deal with all of this stuff that come with it. Because like I said, I don't live in a world where people say stuff to me. Like I'm a very polite, respectful person. People that have met me in real life will tell you David is the same in real life that I am on the internet. In fact, really, I tone myself down on the internet because I don't want to disrespect nobody. But I don't have issues with people saying slick stuff to me while I'm moving around the city. Right? And I've calmed down a lot. I changed my life. There was a time when I was some of my younger subscribers' age. You say anything to me that I didn't like, me and the people that I'm with, we just go in here and handle the situation right then and there. It wasn't going to be no conversation. So I knew what I was getting myself into because now this is an environment for people to take out their anger and their angst on the closest thing to them and not have to feel I'm accountable for it. Because I got to keep my lips shut at work. I got to keep my lips shut in certain situations, but I can jump on the internet and say whatever I want to say to people. They do the same thing on Twitter. It's just weird. But that comes with the price of admission to higher levels. Because what I don't do is post my stuff and walk away because I don't want that type of environment in my comments. So I go back through and make sure that if you're on the wrong tip, you just ain't going to be able to survive in this habitat. Because I do come out of rules and regulations and structure. You just can't do anything you want to do because that's going to get you what you want. We're going to kind of talk about that later. Right? So the last point is, don't confuse wise counsel with jealousy and envy, right? Because many people do. So many people think when they're getting counsel or they're getting warning that that's jealousy and envy. That's a mistake. That's a mistake also a lot of young people make, but some people still young in their mind, even though they might be chronologically older. Often, and I'm one of them people, I believe God talked to people. I never seen no burning bush. That's just me personally. I'm not talking about nobody else, I'm talking about me. I believe God speaks through people. So often somebody will come to you and tell you something, but if you so caught up in the spirit of arrogance or the spirit of pride, you'll think wise counsel is jealousy and envy. This is what a lot of children do with their parents. Parents tell them something, they don't want to listen to it. They find that 10 years later, everything their parents was telling them was 100% correct. Because part of being young is being filled with arrogance and pride. So you don't want to listen to nobody. Often people think because they do wrong right, then right is wrong. I'm sorry for the typo. So often people think if I do something wrong, but I get a result that I'm favorable to me, then doing wrong is the right thing to do. So that when somebody tells them, you need to stop doing that because this is what's going to happen to you, that warning coming for destruction. You need to calm down because this is going to happen to you if you do that. They don't want to hear it. They think you being jealous and you being envious. The way y'all going about this, it's going to get y'all caught up. Don't want to hear it. Want to keep doing what I'm doing because why? I've been getting away with it for this long. I saw somebody on YouTube tell Thug and his whole crew, y'all going to get indicted. I can see how y'all moving. Y'all going to get indicted. But Thug gonna want to do what he want to do because he feeling that power of I can call a shot. I can tell this person to do this, yada, 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 and they'll go do it. And that had been going on a long time. People that's really from the city know what time it is. That situation over there in Cleveland, that situation was really going on before Thug was even grown, right? It's been crews over there for a very long time. So he was born into that. But he took it to another level because why? He had the money to put gas behind it. But people told Thugger, man, you need to calm down, dog. Yada, yada, yada. Didn't want to hear it because he gassed up on the fact that I can tell somebody to go do something, right? Or I can put this position, yada, yada, yada. So now you got to deal with that situation because that's exactly what the state of Georgia is saying that that's what you was doing. You feel me? But people told him that stuff. It's people on YouTube try to tell him, look at man, y'all need to cool out, bro. So that's what people understand is that many times you can be doing something and because you're getting away with it for right now, you think any counsel around what you're doing is jealousy and envy. Nah, bro, you know you're doing wrong, but because you getting away with it and you getting a result that's favorable at this moment, you think, well, it can't really be that bad. When you get caught up in it, then you realize how bad it was. So that's why I say you got to have some type of nuance and some discernment with this stuff. Because we created a world to where if a person is getting away with what they're doing, any critique of what they're doing is seen as hate and jealousy, right? If a person make enough money and they doing something, anybody say, man, you tripping with what you're doing. Oh man, that's jealousy. You hating on me, right? Because I'm getting money. No, we're not hating you because you're getting money. We want you to get money. It's everything else you're doing around you is where you tripping. Right? You tripping with the rest of the stuff. The money is not a problem. It's everything else around you tripping. You know what I'm saying? Megan Thee Stallion allegedly doing all those drugs, allegedly led to the situation with Tory. So her allegedly doing all those drugs led to the situation with Tory. I'm not a duck, right? I know what go on at 4 o'clock in the morning, right? Y'all talking to somebody that used to really be out there. I know what go on at 4 o'clock in the morning. So her allegedly doing drugs lead to the situation. We're not justifying her getting shot. But what we're saying is that you moving weird, right? You weren't sitting home in your house and something happened. You way, way, way out there. And you moving weird with weird people. And that's when weird stuff happened. Right? So who was there to counsel her to say, hey, you know what, you're doing your thing, but you need to try to do this. And it don't come across as, oh, you jealous and envious of me. And that's what happens to a lot of people. So that's what I want you to understand is that in this world, you have to deal with people being jealous and envious of you. It's part of the price of admission to get to the next level. And then when you get to that level, is another level past that. When you get to that level, it don't stop to the day you pass away. Right? And so you got to learn how to manage those particular situations around what you have going on. But on the opposite side of it, because it's a spectrum, you don't want to start confusing counsel with people being jealous and envious of you, because you could be doing something wrong, but you're getting away with it for right now. But then you start thinking, well, you know what? Because I'm getting away with it, I'm going to try to make it be the right thing to do, because life don't work that way. You can't never make wrong right. If you're doing wrong, you're going to get caught up in it. It might take 20 years. It might take 50 years. You see, Keefe D might have him a case. But you a damn idiot to talk about a murder on YouTube, right? But these are kind of people that's on the streets that y'all think y'all want to run out here and be with. You involved in a murder and you trying to get YouTube fame by talking about a murder. You know ain't no statute of limitations on murder. You know that, right? Right? And I'm not talking about the person watching. I'm just saying it's rhetorical. There's no statute of limitations on murder. So why would you ever talk about it? But the only way I can get some attention, because my life ain't turned out to nothing, I'm in my mid-50s, is to talk about a murder. So now them people looking at you now because there's no statute of limitations on no murder. So the smart person would never talk about it, right? But when I need some attention, and I know I can get attention by talking about this murder, I'm going to talk about something that was wrong, and I'm going to try to get a right situation out of it by getting some attention and maybe getting some interview money by talking about a murder. Now you got a situation. Why would you ever talk about it? I guarantee you people told him don't talk about that, but he want to do what he want to do. So now you got to deal with that situation. So that's what I want you to understand. We're going to read these comments, man. We're going to get up on out of here because it's 6:30 on a Sunday. I'm sorry, 6:30 on a Thursday. I'm tripping. Raygun, man, appreciate the $2, man. Big up to East Atlanta. Candy Skin, appreciate you being a Patreon supporter. Appreciate the $10. Saying you're going to catch it on Patreon. Really appreciate it. So, Bobo Cisse, appreciate the $20 super chat. Mr. A says, facts, true love is somebody for happy you when they're doing better than you. Not only when you're stuck on the same level, definitely. So appreciate the $4.99 super chat. And Mr. A, man, appreciate the $20. I'm an accountant. I partner with other accountants. We pay for separate resources and share it together. Much better than us paying it all on our own. Yeah, and the thing about it is, say nobody would know if you're even doing that. Right? Nobody would know. As long as y'all keep it amongst each other. That's the same thing people doing on Netflix. Right? Instead of getting mad at one person being able to do it, bring it back to the group, and we all get it. We all benefit from it, and we all can eat together. But that's having a group mentality. I'm going to talk about this weekend. People thinking I'm going to do it all by myself. You're going to just get cut down out here by yourself. This is a world full of groups. It ain't a world of individuals. So we're going to read these comments, man. We're going to get up on out of here. So Flo Jersey, appreciate you coming through. Jason Wood, appreciate it. LJ, appreciate it. Alonzo, appreciate it. Journey to Jasmine, appreciate you coming through. Ray Gunn saying Hammer had a PepsiCo deal. He had a Pepsi deal. I think he had a fast food deal. He had a lot of deals on the table. He was big. Like Hammer was big, you know? And a lot of people from New York didn't like that because they weren't big like that. But it was what it was. You couldn't dance like Hammer. So Jasmine says, I tripled my income and growing. If they knew better, they would listen to Eric instead of hypergamy or the swirl girls. Yeah, but the hypergamy and the swirl girls don't give them no instructions to do nothing. They just get to sit around and talk about, you know, fantasy scenarios and who they don't like. So it's no instructions being given. And one thing about a lot of people, but I'm going to just say it, we've conditioned a whole generation of women to not want to take no instructions. They think they're going to figure it all out on their own. So you just got to let them get out the way and let them do it. You know? It's very interesting. But yeah, but Erica gonna give you some instructions. They don't want to get no instructions, but she's doing better than all of those women in those particular spaces talking about how they're gonna teach you how to level up. But you know, people want what they want. And also they don't want what they don't want, which is they don't want no instructions. Right? LG says you have more options after you make $90K a year. Yeah, you also got more taxes too. Something I had to figure out. In Mika Khan, the negative economy. Dr. Chaz saying just what's going on to Dr. Chaz. So Black American television news and information, I call them menial job, beer, and cigarette money people. Y'all call them Joe Lunchpack. But there's millions of them. And that's an archetype in America. That's an archetype. You know, that the Archie Bunker guy, you know, that's the archetype. And a lot of people, that's just who they are. They just want to work, come home, watch TV, watch the game, whatever. There's nothing wrong with that. But a lot of those people get to a certain age and they realize I haven't made preparations for my older age because I've been kind of like on this plateau for 25, 30, sometimes even 40 years. And it's very unfortunate when they realize that. So Shanice says, I learned a lot of things the hard way. If you build it, you got to protect it, most definitely. And you got to think about protecting it before you even build it. So most definitely, you got to think about that. So 100% I agree with you. Katrina says, go get some money. Definitely go get some. It's a lot out here. There's been so much money in this economy. They printed so much money over the past 3 years. They may never print that much money in the economy again the rest of our lives. Right? It's very unfortunate people didn't try to figure out how to get some of that money. Right? They may never print that much money again the rest of the time that we're on this planet. It may be another 100 years before they do that again. Yeah, go get some money, man. I don't think Americans realize what it's like to live in an economy with no money's moving through the economy. I don't think people realize how tough it can be to get money in certain economies. It's tough because there's no money to go get. So you got to take something from somebody because there's no money to go get. No matter, it don't matter what you do. You can't, there's no money in circulation to go get. So you got to take material stuff from people. We live in a country to where there's so much money, you ain't got to take nothing from nobody. Just go get you some money. Yeah, Reagan, I agree with you. Reagan says facts in real life. People don't talk crazy to me, but on social, people say crazy stuff to me on social media. It's ridiculous. But it's a free for all on here. That's what Elon Musk want. He want a free for all. That's exactly what he gonna get too. He gonna get a free for all. But that's what people want because this is the one place where they can be who they think they want to be. But yeah, it's crazy. So Reagan says Cleveland Avenue has some houses over 700K nowadays. Yeah, I believe you. They want that area over there. Forgot the name of that other area that's east of that. Yeah, they want that area over there. So it is what it is. Yeah, G. Depp confessed to a murder he did 30 years ago and got life. Yeah, I think he had what do you call it? Psychological issues, mental health issues. I think he had mental health issues. Right? I think he had mental health issues. But big up to him. Old folks got nothing to live for except being part of Park's murder. Yeah, definitely. This is very unfortunate. At that age, he got nothing to talk about. He can't talk about what he got going on. He can't talk about no projects he got popping. All he got to talk about is how he was involved with Park being murdered. And so now that's coming back to haunt him because why? I don't know anybody that talks about murders. It's just weird, but we in a different era now. And so you got a lot of old dudes trying to do what these young people is doing. That ain't your job to be young no more. You got to let them 20-year-olds do that. That ain't your job to get on the internet and talk about everything. That's a problem with a lot of these older cats. They want to be, that stuff weird. I don't know what motivated that man to ever do that. But that was the only way he was going to get some attention because why? Don't nobody know him for nothing else because he ain't got nothing else going on. So hopefully he got a good lawyer. He get out of that issue. But with his track record of incarceration already on top of this, it could be a situation for him. But yeah, I don't know why you would ever talk about a murder. Right? I don't understand. And I don't know why people want to hear about a murder. Right? Once I learned, and I didn't learn off the internet, how Pac got killed, that was the last time I wanted to hear about it because that's not entertainment to me. But it just, we live in a real weird, this is just a weird era we live in. Things change over time. Yeah, but I don't understand why you would let anybody sit you in a room and press the camera on and I'm going to sit up here and talk about a murder unless you're doing it for law enforcement as part of a plea deal. But I'm going to do it for a YouTuber? Why? Like, why would you do that? It's a murder case, bro. Like, but this is what people don't realize. They're infatuated with this stuff. And like I tell people, most of these people crash out as they get older because they never learn anything different to do that type of stuff. So you take yourself off the street. The police didn't take you off the street. You took yourself off the street. So we're going to get up on out of here, man. I appreciate everybody for coming through. Stay safe. Stay focused. You know, and don't let the jealousy and the envy get to you. Focus on what you're doing, man. Just keep building up. Y'all stay safe, man. I'll talk to y'all later.